rolling.
Okay, Councilman. As we were kind of talking, we've seen kind of the city council meetings, seen kind of the public's backlash on how they've responded to some of your words. We want to just kind of give you the opportunity. I think both sides of this argument have all said that homelessness is an issue within Kern County. How would you foresee kind of solving this issue within Bakersfield?
Yeah, the pursuit that we've been going towards, some of us on the council, is creating more jail bed space to hold people that are breaking crimes, which is the majority of our homeless population, and stopping them in their tracks, getting them in jail so that they can now get the help and treatment they need or get moved into some type of health and treatment. If you need to do that again because of sound, we can, yeah.
I think you're okay.
Okay.
So I had actually kind of brought this up with Kern County Sheriff Donnie Youngblood, and he basically kind of said, we've heard people kind of want, homeless people who are causing a lot of issues to be thrown in jail, but the issue is there's not enough jail beds.
Yes.
So where would maybe even this funding come from to kind of create? How would you create more jail beds?
Yes, that's a great question. And so the whole reason that this whole thing came up and kind of got blown into what it is now is I've been on the council for a little over a year. I was sold the idea that homelessness is getting better, and then as a year into it, a report was presented where homelessness is actually getting worse. And so we've been working on creating jail bed space, and all along we knew that was going to take money. And so when I said we need to stop wasting money, it was we need to stop wasting money on anything except for treating this problem that's happening in our community. And so it was a chance for everybody on council to recognize that this is going to take more funding than what we have right now, and we need to no longer just push things through to just get to fund pet projects or things that are not going to impact the health of our community. The money is going to come from us cutting back on other things and also being a good steward of our resources.
All right. You were criticized for not participating in the time and count. Would you want to comment on that, on people that are criticizing you for that?
Yeah. So what? I've spent so many years of my life working with homeless people and trying to get them into resources, get them into the help that they need, from Skid Row to Bakersfield. The church that I served at was downtown Bakersfield, and we constantly were dealing with the homeless population, trying to serve them, trying to get them resourced into. But the thing that a lot of people don't realize, most people do realize, of the 40-something thousand comments that I've received from the first time that I even brought this to the public's attention in that city council meeting, 99.9% of them side with me. It was a 0.1% that are stirred up and being bamboozled by some weird ideologies like what they're doing is working. It's not working. Things are actually getting worse. And we're not saying that we need to do away with public services and getting them the resources we need. We're just saying that those are not going to be used when you're just offering it and giving an individual a choice who's not thinking correctly, who's not mentally competent to make that decision. And so you have to force people to make those good decisions for them, or they just stay in jail. And they'll have that opportunity, but to just have all these resources, all of these different programs, all these different nonprofits, just waiting for them to show up, they're not going to show up. They don't show up. They're all around us. They're terrorizing our community. And sitting back and doing nothing is basically where we're at right now. Is we're cleaning up the problem, but we're not actually getting in front of the problem. I see the numbers. People are getting housed, they're getting placed in permanent housing, and I appreciate all of the work that all of these programs are doing. I really do. I'm not saying that any of them is doing a bad job or needs to be gone. I'm just saying that's half of the reality, half of the treatment. The other half are the individuals that don't want to go to those places. They don't want to show up in those places. They're literally trafficking drugs from tent to tent, breaking into businesses, destroying businesses, breaking into houses, stealing left and right, because they know they're not going to go to jail. They know they can just keep doing it over and over again because people are going to show up to city council and say they need more social services. They know that there are people fighting for them to stay on the street and continue to commit crime, and people don't even realize it. It's going to be both sides working together that's actually going to fix it. That's the reality. That's the plan. So I've beat this dead horse over the head so many stinking times. It is so frustrating.
What do you kind of want to say, any comments on people that have kind of spoken up in the city council meetings, as well as how has any of their comments had any impact on
Yeah. Well, when the first few videos went out, or actually after that first council meeting, when I was frustrated and I lost my temper, I became a little indignant because of the facts that were presented to me, which were, I mean, it just proved what I'd been saying for a year. It really, really bothered me. And then, you know, the outpouring of the community saying, hey, we are so glad that somebody said what is right and what is true, and we stand behind you. But the 1% that came through with the death threats and the horrible, evil remarks, I mean, it's rough, but at the end of the day, I didn't run for city council because I think it's glamorous. I love what I do for work. I have a wife and kids, and I'm active in our community, but you know, when you go to fight for what's right, you're going to expect some resistance, and people are so quick to just get so emotional about, hey, this guy hates everybody. If anybody had been tracking anything I said for the last year, been working for the last year, they would know that's not my heartbeat and what I actually am working on. They would stop listening to the people that are bamboozling them and lying to them about what the solutions are. They would actually, you know what the difference between what's working and what's not working. It doesn't take a lot of effort. Showing up to the point and count is not going to reaffirm in me what I already know the issue is, because we live in it all of the time. When I leave my house with the perspective of someone that has to look after 3 kids, a business, and so I'm looking at the world differently than someone that leaves their house with no responsibilities in front of them. They can just brush homeless people off because it's not affecting their life, but it does affect a majority of our community's lives. And I want these individuals to get the help that they need. I want them to be reintegrated back into our communities. I want them to be functioning members of society, but we're actually enabling them to get worse and worse and worse, for their brains to become more and more damaged. We're enabling individuals to have babies in grocery store parking lots just to die. We're enabling more homeless people just to burn more businesses down, with other homeless people dying inside. I mean, I don't know how many people have to die, or buildings have to be burned down, or businesses have to close because they can't afford the liability anymore because of the damage that's being done, for people to wake up and say, this needs to change. We need to get tough on this. We can't just continue to pour money into social services and expect that to treat the issue. Again, I'm not saying we get rid of that. I'm just saying that is only going to treat a small percentage of what people are actually dealing with. But we have to get tough on it, and we have to make sure that they are not on the street destroying our community.